Nearly 1 million South Africans could lose their jobs due to load shedding. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to News in 5. I'm your host Emilio. Thanks for tuning in. Now I'm going to talk about this job issue in just a moment, but first there's a very important message that I want to share with you. Now perhaps you'll remember that not too long ago I shared some articles with you that mentioned that Eskom or load shedding might be getting better. We have even had ANC ministers who a few months ago said things like this.
The load shedding before the end of the year should have been something of the past.
Serious?
Yes.
Liar!
Well, this is how that's going. Sure, let's blame sabotage now for the reason why the goal of ending load shedding by the end of this year is no longer attainable.
He's a liar.
There are so many instances where politicians have promised the end of load shedding in 2023.
That was never going to happen.
But as we're now in December, clearly those are just broken promises.
Don't lie. You see, don't lie on the public platform.
Now, I know that most of you agree and know what I'm saying, but unfortunately there still are a few South Africans that still believe the ANC propaganda machine. They believe that somehow the ANC is going to fix load shedding, and this is far from the truth. If you know anyone who still thinks that ANC is going to fix this load shedding problem, please share the video or this video with them. There is no hope as long as the ANC is still in power. And I really want to drive this point home because recently a court ruling deemed that load shedding was unconstitutional. And since this ruling, a lot of people have come out and agreed with the ruling, including Mr. Underdirector himself, a man who had to flee this country for exposing the rot that was in Eskom. He agrees that the ANC is the only one to blame for the load shedding. And luckily, due to this ruling, good things have started to happen, at least with the private sector. Following the government finally getting out of its own way and allowing private businesses to compete in the energy market, South Africa has seen a surge in private investments in the sector as companies desperately look for ways out of the government's failure to meet demand. Last week, the North Gauteng High Court ruled that load shedding violates human rights and is unconstitutional and laid the blame for the country's critical power failures at the feet of the ANC government for many reasons, including its blocking of private sector participation. And this is what I want to make very clear. We might see a great ease of load shedding within the next few years, but make no mistake, it's not the ANC that's done that, it's the private sector. But you can bet that the ANC will try and spin this as if they're the ones that are fixing load shedding. And to prove my point, remember Eskom is an SOE, and this is something Eskom has recently said. Code red at Eskom.
Oh, come on!
The risk of load shedding between December 2023 and December 2024 is remarkably high, with Eskom anticipating it will be more than 2,000 megawatts short to meet demand and reserves for at least the next year. So there you go. We went from, oh, load shedding is going to end this year in 2023 to, well, it's actually going to get a lot worse into 2024. So now you know that when any politician tells you that they're going to fix load shedding anytime soon, you know it's a blatant lie. And they're still going to use every excuse in the book as to why we're having load shedding. Some of the most ridiculous reasons we've seen recently. But even now, experts are coming out to call out the ministers for these lame excuses. When it's cold in winter, they tell us it's cold. And that's why we have load shedding. When it's hot in summer, they tell us it's hot. And that's why we have load shedding.
Yeah, right.
It's nonsense. Most of the excuses are nonsense. So I wanted to bring this all to your attention, and at the same time, I haven't even mentioned the countless amount of money that has been pumped into Eskom endlessly. And I haven't even mentioned the amount of businesses that have been lost, even the amount of lives that have been lost. But the situation gets even worse. 800,000 South Africans could lose their jobs due to load shedding. Electricity Minister said over 800,000 South Africans can stand to lose their jobs due to load shedding. The Minister of Electricity spoke to Eskom employees at Medupi Station, which recently experienced several breakdowns that plunged the company into elevated load shedding levels. When Medupi coughs, the country catches a cold, the Electricity Minister said. You coughed last week, and as you coughed, you removed 2 units, and as a result of that, we experienced intensified levels of load shedding. The minister explained that Medupi stands between people's livelihoods and prosperity, and emphasized the impact of breakdowns and subsequent load shedding on the South African economy. He said that 640,000 people lost their jobs due to elevated load shedding in 2022. At the current rates that we are going, where we have had the most days of load shedding in 2023, we will most likely lose 840,000 jobs, he warned. And I like how he's chatting to these employees like they're children, like he's reprimanding them, like, do your job or else. And you gotta remember, some of these power stations haven't been maintained in years. So it's not exactly the employee's fault, but when it comes to Medupi, that's a whole nother can of worms. Endless amount of money has been pumped into it. The power station reeks of corruption. And just within its 2 weeks of coming online, there was an explosion. But in just this conversation that the electricity minister has, you can see that he's trying to shift the blame from the ANC to the employees. Once again, the ANC not taking accountability. In a country where already the unemployment rate is super high, load shedding is now going to add to that. This once again proves that the ANC doesn't give a damn about the South African people, and I'm so happy that the private sector is finally getting the opportunity to step in. This will deliver an arguably undeserved boon to the government, as load shedding is now expected to decline in the lead up to 2024 elections thanks to the private sector investment, with further private generation anticipated to offset Eskom's declining supply from 2026. And this is that important message that I wanted to bring to your attention. Remember that as load shedding eases, it is not the ANC who did that, but the private sector. South African people are the ones who are fixing load shedding, not the government. So for those of you who believe that the ANC is going to fix the problem, please stop falling for that ANC propaganda. Share this video and let people know the truth. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, ladies and gentlemen. Are you happy to see the private sector finally step in to fix load shedding? Also, consider becoming a member to this channel. There's exclusive perks for those who are members. You can find more information on that join button below this video, or you can go to the pinned comment where there's a link to find out more information. If you enjoyed this content, you might enjoy these videos. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, share it far and wide, and subscribe to the channel. I've got more content coming your way. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.